Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this beautiful, beautiful evening? I am so happy to have you here. You're viewing from my personal page and not the Soul and Wonder page, so you already know who I am, Sarah, co-founder of Soul and Wonder and personal development coach. So tonight, I want to share with you one of my tools I use when I'm feeling anxious, stressed, when I'm worried about something in my life. And by the end of this video, you will have a super quick 4-step method to diffuse any given situation, and you'll get so good at this that you're going to be able to dial down your anxiety from a level 10 to like a level 5 or even lower in just 30 seconds, guaranteed. But before we get into that, I want to see who's with me. Drop me a line in the comments. Let me know you're here. Give me a wave. Show me your favorite emoji, whatever it is, so I know you're watching. And also, if you're watching, most likely you probably have anxiety or deal with stress or obsessive and excessive worrying. And if you do, let me know. What's the severity? Is it at a 10, it being the strongest? Is it at a 1 or a 2, or does it matter about the situation and the circumstance you're in? Talk to me. Let me know how you're feeling. So I do want to say, though, that I have spent most of my life running away from my problems. I really have. And I'm not going to go into too much detail now because I will be sharing this story in much more depth and detail later. I actually haven't publicly talked about this to such a degree that I want to, and so I'm going to start opening up about that more from our Soul and Wonder business page. But right now I just want to say, like, yeah, I spent most of my life running away from my problems, drinking, partying, hopping from one relationship to the next, and even after becoming more spiritually in tune and developed more, stepping more into my authenticity, I still tried fixing my problems before processing them, right? I still tried to fix the fear and the worry and the judgment with, yoga or breathing exercises or meditation, like in the heat of the moment, right? To make it go away. The problem was I wasn't doing the work afterwards. I was coping, but I was perpetually coping. I wasn't actually doing any deeper work. Now, it wasn't until I became a personal transformation coach that I realized the importance of leaning into the darkness and using it to our advantage to do the true transformational healing. So anyway, more on that to come in future videos about that story in much more detail. But tonight isn't actually about the depths of healing. Believe it or not, tonight is not about the depths of healing, because I know that sometimes we need help, like right now, in this very moment. And this simple tool that I'm going to share with you could make a huge difference in someone's ability, your ability to, even get through your day-to-day life, so that you can have the energy to do the deep work later. So before I get into the method, I just want to share a quick story with you about how I've used this method in my life recently. So September of this year, hi Courtney, September of this year, oh my God, guys, that was the busiest month I think I've ever had in my entire life. Chris and I, we are working with 2 brands. So we have different target audiences that we're working with and different clients that we're working for. And we had so many projects going on at one time in September. I don't know how it was possible, to be honest with you. I mean, I was getting up at like 7 in the morning, getting to work at 8 in my home. That's what I mean by getting to work at 8, and sometimes even going until 9 o'clock at night with only a break to cook lunch in between. Sometimes I didn't even do that and just ate fruit, right? What's up, Eddie? So it was busy. It was very, very busy. And I felt so much pressure. I felt so much pressure. Most of that month, I was doing really well, but then towards the end of that month, I started to really feel that pressure. I started to really feel that anxiety chiming in, those fears of what if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? What if I put in all of this work and it just flops? What if I put in all this work and it succeeds? What the hell? How am I going to handle that? What if I can't cope with that? What if I'm not as great as I was hoping I would be? All these fears just in my mind. And one of the nights, I remember specifically, one of the nights I couldn't sleep. I could not sleep at all. I was just thinking about all the to-do lists and all the things I still needed to do for my clients and the emails I had to catch up with, the projects, the multiple projects that we needed to nurture and care for along the way so that it could come to fruition. I mean, you know the feeling, like, right? Like 1, 2 in the morning, you're just tossing, turning, thinking. I could feel it in my body. I was tense, I was stressed. And the more stressed I became, the less I was able to sleep. And that made me even more stressed because I knew that if I didn't get any sleep, the next day would be super unproductive because I would be exhausted. And so that kept me up even more. I was like, just sleep, just go to sleep. And that was when I realized, all right, Sara, you're stuck. You're stuck in a circle. You have to be the one to pull yourself out of this. Nobody's going to pull you out of it. You have to be the one to pull yourself out of it. So I paused and I asked myself one question, and I do this anytime I'm feeling stressed, anxious, or worried. I asked this one question: is there anything I can do about whatever it is I am worried about right now at this very moment? Is there anything that I can do about whatever it is that I'm worried about right now in this very moment? Obviously, at 2 in the morning, the answer was a hard no. Like, no, right now you need to prioritize sleeping. All of this stuff that you're worried about can be taken care of tomorrow, right? So that's when I knew, okay, I need to bring in the present moment. I'm living in the past, I'm living in the future. I need to zone into the present moment. That is all we have. Every millisecond is all we have is now, the present moment. So I stopped and I ran through this method that I'm going to share with you. And immediately, not only did I gain insight about what I needed to explore later, but I also immediately fell asleep. And that felt really good. Like, I'm reliving it now and I remember that feeling. And the next day, I did the work that I needed to do. I did the work that I needed to get done, and I took the time to explore the fears that were coming up that night. I took the time to sit with the limiting beliefs and let it all come out and get out. I even cried. I voiced it to my husband, all the fears that I had, and it felt so good. But like I said earlier, tonight's video is not about deep healing and transformation. Tonight is about how you can cope in that moment, how you can interrupt that cycle in that very moment so that you do have the energy later to do the deep healing work. So anyway, let's get into the method, all right? So I have this simple 4-step method that invites you into the present moment. And this naturally just reduces stress and anxiety in as little as 30 seconds. It might take you a little longer in the beginning to get used to it. Maybe it takes you 60 seconds, you know? Maybe it takes you 2 minutes. Maybe you want to be in that present moment for 10. You can choose, but it can be done in as little as 30 seconds. What's up, Rich? Long time no see, right? So, step number 1. Notice your breath. Notice it without trying to fix it, without trying to judge it. It's not good, it's not bad. Just notice your breath. What do you notice? Is it in that moment of anxiety? I know for me, usually I'm not breathing at all. It's very constricted. Is your breathing shallow? Is it choppy? Is it long and deep? What is your breathing doing in that moment? You can even go along with me right now and tune in with yourself now. It's okay if you're not feeling anxious or stressed. You can still tune in the present moment anytime. So once you notice your breath without trying to fix it, without trying to change it, You're just honoring where you're at. You're listening to the signals of your body. Ask yourself, what does focusing on your breath do? What effect does focusing on your breath have on your body, your emotions, your energy? Because we are a holistic being. And once you spend a few seconds on your breath, shift your awareness into step number 2. Notice the physical sensations in your body. What do I mean by this? I mean by really tuning into the inside. What do you feel? Do you feel butterflies in your stomach? Do you feel a constriction in your chest? Maybe your shoulders are tight and pulled up to your ears. Maybe you're laying down and curled up in a little ball like I was that night when I couldn't sleep. And don't fix it. Don't immediately uncurl. Don't immediately drop your shoulders. Don't immediately open your heart. Just notice. Don't fix it. Don't judge it. And then ask yourself, what effect does focusing on these physical sensations have on my breathing? What effect does it have on my emotions? What effect does noticing and focusing on these physical sensations have on my overall energy? All right, so you're literally just going present moment to present moment to present moment. You're not in the past, you're not in the future, you're not judging it, you're not fixing it. You're moving with your body in real time. And then you move into step 3. Step 3, notice your emotions. Now, in this case, you're likely feeling anxious, you're likely feeling stressed, so those are some emotions, but what other emotions are going along with it? Do you feel fear? Do you feel panicked? Do you feel judgment? Do you feel worried? What is it that's coming into your emotional awareness? And don't judge it. Don't say, oh, you shouldn't be feeling anxious. Oh, you shouldn't be feeling fear. No, get rid of judgment. But hey, if judgment's what pops up, notice the judgment. Don't judge the judgment. Be still, just notice. Notice your emotions, and then ask yourself, what effect does focusing on my emotions have on my breathing, on my body, on my overall energy? And then you can move into step number 4, notice your energy. Now, I understand that energy can be kind of an abstract concept for people. For me, it's just a knowing. It's a feeling without being completely in my body. It's almost like it extends 6 feet beyond me, right? Is your energy in that moment feeling stagnant? Does it feel like it's on fire? What does your energy feel like in that moment? And just notice it. Just like with the last steps, you don't judge it, you don't fix it, you don't attach any stories to it. You just let it be that. If it's stagnant, let it be that. If it's blocked, let it be that. If it's just rushing all through every atom of your being, let it be that. And then ask yourself, what effect does focusing on my overall energy have on my breathing, on my body, and on my emotions? You could even go as far as asking yourself, if I could capture the essence of this energy, overall energy, with a metaphor, what would that be? Would it be a heart wrapped in barbed wire? I think I've used this analogy in a video before. Would it be, like you're fenced in with no gate to open? This helps us to get into our right brain and really connect with that present moment in a creative way. And so naturally, what you will find after you've gone through these 4 simple steps without judgment or fixing, you'll find that you moved into the present moment every second, every second, every second. You're here now, you're here now, you're here now. And over time, you create a gap. You create space. You create a gap from the original stimulus and your response. You get to make a choice in that gap how you choose to respond. And now I'm not the first person to talk about that point of observation. This has been taught by spiritual gurus for thousands of years and are, like top best-selling authors in personal development of mindfulness, presence, and all of that. This is not a new concept. But this 4-step process can help you enter that by giving you something to focus on that's moving in real time. So you're not stuck in the past or the future. Before you know it, no matter how your body felt, no matter how your breathing, your energy, or your emotions were, you'll start to see that focusing on these all parts of your holistic being naturally dials down the intensity of whatever emotion you're experiencing. It really helps you to get to know your body. It helps you to get to know the indicators of stress and anxiety. But most importantly, it pulls you out. You become an observer. You get to watch like a fly on the wall, just looking down, looking in, and noticing. And it's really, really pleasant. Now, I'm not going to say that after this 4 steps, your anxiety is going to be gone. I'm not saying your stress is going to be gone, because it's not. Because guess what? You still got to do the work. You still got to process through the fears that were coming up. You still have to find those core limiting beliefs that were getting in your way. You still have to dig. But at least in this moment, you can breathe. You know, maybe after you do the 4 steps, then you can take a couple deep breaths and say, okay, I'm coping with where I'm at right now, right? And then you'll have the energy to do the inner work necessary, whether it's directly after those 4 steps or whether it's the next day, like in my case, with my sleepless night. And this gives you control. You take ownership. You get to choose how to be in a way that provides space for transformation and doesn't just sweep it under the rug like we tend to do. So this is something that I do not only with myself, this is something I do with my clients, like on the spot, on the phone, when they're dealing with any kind of emotion or breakthrough. It's always great to zero in and zone in on that present moment. Even through email, when they're panicking about a life decision, I can help remind them, okay, stop. What do you notice about your breath? What do you notice about your physical sensations? What do you notice about your emotions and your energy? Time passes, you have the gap, boom. You're calm, at least more calm than when you started. Problem's not solved, but you have the responsibility to solve those problems later. So the work isn't necessarily over yet, but that is a super simple, quick method to dial down your anxiety and your stress. It is so wonderful to provide that space for more self-reflection. And I will be going into a lot more detail over the next coming days and weeks about living a stress-free and happy life, because you guys deserve it. We all do. We all deserve to come into our authentic, true potential. And I want to hear from you guys. Let me know. Does this help you? Are you excited to try it? Drop me a comment. Share with me your experience with being present and mindful, and how that maybe has helped you in the past. Or maybe this is your first time jumping in, and this might be your first time you ever even thought about the present moment. Tell me what you notice. Tell me what you think, what you feel. I want to hear all about it. I want to hear if this helps you in the future. Be sure to come back to this video and keep me updated. And I want to let you know, I'm going to be going live consistently and regularly on our Soul and Wonder business page, because we are trying to build this community of people who want to live a stress-free, happy life. And that means I want to take all this good stuff over to that platform. So be sure to like and follow Soul in Wonder. Go to that page, hit like, hit follow. You can even update your follow request to make sure that you get notified when we go live, and you'll get all the updates. So I hope to see you guys over there, and I'll probably see you either tomorrow or the day after that. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'll come back and answer them through the comments. You guys have a beautiful night. Remember those 4 steps. You are worthy of the present moment, because that is all you are. Bye-bye.